I want to be in old New Hampshire. I want to go. Hi, I'm Ruth Craig. I'm the editor of the New Hampshire Genealogical Record. I'm here to talk to you about the spring 2022 issue, volume 34, number 2. Were you aware that we had slavery in New Hampshire in revolutionary times, even after the revolution and before the revolution? I certainly was not aware of the scale of it. And this issue of the New Hampshire Genealogical Record is centered on people of color. This is an issue we've been working on for over a year, and we are so proud to present it to you. So we have 2 family stories about free people of color. One is by Eric Aldrich. It's about the Dew family in Hancock, New Hampshire. The other is by Michelle Stahl, and it's about a woman named Dinah Freeman who lived in Peterborough. And you probably know it is quite difficult oftentimes to trace people of color, and it's amazing how these authors have brought together what information they have been able to gather and really sketch out the lives of these people. We also have 2 articles that were done by students at Dartmouth College. And this was done, much of it in the, right now I'm in the Rauner Special Collections Library. So one of the articles, the first one, is about a rare manuscript in this library which records deaths from the earliest days in Hanover. And this article was spearheaded by my student, Priscilla Minka. Priscilla extracted all of the deaths in Hanover that were either of people of color, people from Africa, mulattoes, or Indians. And so these are all presented to you. And what we were surprised by is how many people of color there were in this town in early times. And the second article was spearheaded by Lily Waddell. And this article uses the Sargent Index. This is an index which allows you to find people throughout the state who have been recorded in the early town records. And Lily has extracted all of these are index cards, so they're index listings to know, so that you can know where to go in the records. So Lily has extracted all of the there's cards for, quote, Negroes and cards for, quote, Indians or Native Americans. So this is a great finding aid, and you can also use it. There's a lot of cards for whites, which we didn't bring out here. There's reels and reels of them. Then we have 4 articles by Sean Furness. Sean has done a huge amount of abstracting of from various New Hampshire sources. 2 of the articles are abstracts from the New Hampshire Gazette, the earliest newspaper in New Hampshire. And it all has to do with people of color. The first one is people who were named, individuals who were they had their names. Sometimes for people of color, they only had a first name, but they were at least named. The second of these 4 articles has to do with people who were not named, but were referred to as Negroes, or mostly. So he's got the whole collection, but we're just presenting the ones for African Americans or people of color. So the named, unfortunately, most of these are ads for runaway slaves. The unnamed, most of these are for, believe it or not, sales. And these articles are eye-opening, even if you don't have ancestors of color or ancestors who might have been slave owners. I had no awareness of the extent of this practice in New Hampshire. So they are extremely moving. Then another very interesting, before the revolution, the British naval officers, they tracked all the ships that were going in and out of the ports in Portsmouth. So these records then were sent back to England, but he was able to access them online. And again, he has done the whole set, but we're extracting, it would be a whole book. We're extracting here those where the ships were described as carrying, quote, Negroes. So this is just very interesting. They carried them along with all their other cargo. And it's a very unusual set of records. Then his fourth one, if you had ancestors in Portsmouth, he abstracted the vital records for ancestors of color in Portsmouth. Now, oftentimes at the end of our issues, we have an article that provides broad context. And here we have an article by Glenn Knobloch, an historian, and he has done just an amazing scope of research on soldiers of color in revolutionary times and pre-revolutionary times, so like in the in the colonial wars, that's all brought together here, and it is such an interesting piece of work, and just the amount of information that he was able to find through persistence is quite eye-opening. So happy spring. It's not quite spring up there in Hanover, but this is a recent acquisition of the Rauner Library. This is a bust of Frederick Douglass. And I really hope you enjoy this issue on people of color in New Hampshire. Okay, thank you.